To provide a small sample of some of the most relevant functionalities provided by GeneXus Next, at the forefront of artificial intelligence, we have implemented this page, Attractions, of a possible customer-facing application for a travel agency. We can see that we have a floating button that will allow the user to open an artificial intelligence assistant with which he can chat at any time. And from any page, because this is implemented in the master panel. On the other hand, we can see that all the tourist attractions in the database are initially displayed, sorted simply by identifier. For each one is shown its photo, name, description, and also the state of the weather in its city, for which a weather API is consumed. None of this is new. What is new is the possibility of performing searches by sorting the information by semantic criteria. For example, if we check museums, it is sorting the tourist attractions that are closest to that criterion. If we add in France, for example, we see these museums. What is new about this? That the information, contrary to what it seems, is not being sorted according to exact words found among the attraction information, although it may seem so, but is being searched by semantic proximity. We will see it better with this other example. Let's first uncheck this option and modify it here by typing high altitude places. Nothing we typed, neither high nor altitude nor places, is among the information of those attractions by which it is now sorting. However, it found that these attractions were the closest semantically. So much so that we could have written the criteria in another language. And we see that it sorts more or less the same. This is implemented simply by using the new embedding data type and its methods, and nothing else. On the other hand, as we anticipated, we have the new user-controlled chat that will allow in an extremely simple way to use the new agent object, to give the user the possibility of conversing in natural language in the GPT chat mode. But not only to ask for general internet information, as could be this option of 5-star hotels in Paris, which is not information from the travel agency database, but also to ask for information that is specific to the context of our application, like this one, where the attractions to visit in Europe are from the database. Of course, as with any of these chats, the conversation is maintained as long as it is not cleaned up. I can, for example, ask you only for Paris, without making it clear that I am talking about attractions. This allows us to combine both worlds, the information from the internet and that of the context of this application. For example, we don't currently have hotel or restaurant or transportation information in the app, but it is on the internet. So I could tell you, and based on this answer, now ask you, and after thanking you, appreciate that he will politely say goodbye, wishing me to enjoy my meal near the Eiffel Tower. I can continue the conversation even in another language, for example. And observe that he answers me in the same language. Or I can delete the conversation and start a new one. And this has been implemented with an agent where we have specified in its prompt how it should respond, what information from the database it has, and what tools it can use to respond to interactions with the user. For example, in our case, we have indicated among the tools the Weather API. And so it will use it to answer a question like this one. At the same time, if we ask him this other question, you know that you should not answer with information from the internet, but exclusively with your own. At the moment, there are no attractions in Buenos Aires in the database, but apparently there are in these other cities. So let's ask him for the attractions in Rio de Janeiro. He even shows us the photos in the database. But he is not allowed to answer about anything. So, if we ask you this last little question, we invite you to download the sample, try it out and see how all this has been implemented.